Bonjour, Todd.
Bonsoir, Jessie.
Comment ça va?
Bien, et tout?
Oh, what an accent. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to talk to the cheesemonger expert, Todd himself at Oakville Grocery, he speaks French, Italian, Spanish, Hebrew, Russian, and of course, Californian.
Yeah, Hebrew and Russian, like 1 and 2, right there, right?
Well, we're all about inclusivity. He speaks a little bit Japanese.
Oy vey.
Kampai!
Da.
So, dear friends, we're having a lot of fun with Chardonnay. Many of you think Chardonnay is blasé, sacré bleu, we've tasted it. Chardonnay is as diverse as human being there is on the planet. Why? Because Chardonnay is one of the most unique, elegant, sexy, and obviously eclectic grapes. You could be in Burgundy, in the south of France. You could be obviously in Deutschland. You could be in California. You could be in Australia, Canada. Anywhere around the world, we grow Chardonnay, but they're all the same. So this is an amazing tribute to Chardonnay from Napa Valley, from Raymond Vineyard, produced by the fabulous Stephanie Putnam. We'll go back on the wine, but we have Todd. Very creamy Todd today.
You know, it's funny you should say creaminess, because this wine really exhibits this as a creamy, classic Napa Valley Chardonnay. Big and bold and buttery and oaky and everything. It is opulent and extreme. And to that, the cheese that we've decided to go with today is called Fleur de Marquis. It's a Corsican sheep smoked cheese. It's also known as Brind'Amour in years past. The pâté is beautiful white sheep's milk, and this is one of those cheeses, we've talked about this before, but this is one of those cheeses that when you taste the ricotta from Corsica to the aged sheep's milk cheeses from Corsica, there is a single thread that goes right through them. It's a sweet, sweet umami, and this cheese is their soft version that's wrapped in herb de Provence. Predominant, I would say, is rosemary, but there's also a
herb
little
of Corsica and a little Provence, I'm sure.
A little, yeah, and a bit of lavender. This cheese, like all good Corsicans, will every 10 years blow up its own post office, but that's kind of what Corsicans do.
Well, luckily, the Oakville Grocery post office is not in Corsica.
That's right, we're not in
We would be in
so we're
deep
not,
threat.
That's right, I didn't even...
God, they all decide from Napoleon the First.
So
That's why they're so feisty.
we must take Moscow. Anyway,
Amazing.
I lost my...
What about the
Napoleonic...
ashes? What about the ashes?
This is not ash. This is dirt. This is dirt and rind and grind.
Don't you always want to eat dirt? Go in the garden and just go.
There's the old saying about the rind, whether you eat the rind or not. And personally, I go back and forth. Sometimes you look right at it and you can tell not to eat it. And obviously the rind is designed to kind of protect the pâté from the exterior. But there's a couple of cheeses in our store even where the rind is a beautiful thing. This is one of them. We have these great herbs. We have another that is Santa Rosa plums. We have another that's Barolo, that you kind of want to eat that rind. But it does express a little bitterness. And so the best way to deal with bitterness is a little salt. And one of my favorite bites in all of cheesedom is Fleur de Marquis with a Bucarones. Ooh, I don't have the package, but there's a package from Marquis Bucarones. They're a vinegar marinated.
Well, we have
anchovy.
better than the package. Look at
this. This is what it looks like.
Oh, how sexy those little things.
This guy.
Keep going because I love
delicious little bucarones. If you have love for Caesar salads and you don't know these, you have not lived yet. Thank you. But atop the.
But we give you a chance today.
We are going to give you a chance today. It's your opportunity to arise and have some marinated anchovies. You know, every self-respecting tapas bar in all of Spain and southern France, this is just staple.
But this is the dream because the Marquis, Maquis, means the countryside of Corsica, which is one of the most inspirational place for all the perfume makers.
Huh?
I can think of a great friend, Mr. Casciato, one of the best nose on the planet, with whom we've done 2 fragrances, lives in the Marquis, and he created a fragrance named La Fleur du Marquis, similar to the cheese, same name, and it's exactly what you have here. Again, you're traveling with cheese. And then those beautiful bocarones, You could have them pure, as I just did,
Just-
or you prepared them this way.
This is a very
can I
simple.
take- can I go
This is
for
very
it?
simple. The Bucarone is the top, the Fleur de Marquis, and then we're using Acme baguettes, sourdough baguettes, which I have eaten a lot of baguettes everywhere on the planet, but the Acme baguettes that we have every day at the Oakville Grocery, frankly, are my favorite bread maybe in the world. My favorite sourdough for sure. Like I always am willing to have something top.
And what is sourdough?
Sourdough is a non-yeast bread where the culture of the it's fundamentally flour and water that's left to go a little fermented, and you use a touch of that dough into a regular flour mixture, and it creates a leavening, and the dough rises, and you have this ends up. It's kind of a classic Western American construct, and particularly in California, and particularly in San Francisco, where sourdough bread was the bread of choice for years and years and years, all through the gold rush, all through. I imagine in 1881 at the grocery, what they were selling fundamentally was sourdough. Hard to get yeast, and they certainly didn't have the little Fleischmann packets that we use now to make it so easy. So sourdough was a fundamental fermenter at the time.
And the Bay climate
Yeah,
made it sour, which really made it the trademark of Northern California. And Boudin, our very good friend Lou Girardo,
boudin is delicious too.
his great-grandfather started Boudin in the 1860s. At the same time as Buena Vista in 1857, I want to say, still family-owned, discovered
Delicious
sourdough,
stuff.
and they still do it from the same culture as the time.
If you think about the sourdough bowl with the clam chowder in it, that's the boudin thing. That's where that
And
came
Todd,
from.
tell us how you've done this, because what I love it is the oil used in this beautiful Ortiz bocarones is phenomenal. So you just put it on top.
Just use the oil from the can. The Ortiz products in general. If you're going out to the grocery store, we have some, but they have a large line. There's many things you can get there that you can't get here in Spain. But anyway, the Ortiz is a great product. Once you start eating the Ortiz Bonita or the Ortiz tuna, boy, it's hard.
And
to
we
go
have
back.
them all
It
over
is,
here.
we
So
do.
rush.
And the anchovies are just a favorite of mine personally for cheese, for eating, for fun.
And those are rich enough, round enough, and very, very unctuous, very umami, as you say. So with the Chardonnay, what's your view, Todd?
I think that this, again, the combination of these things where the sweetness of this bite, you try to get sweet and sour and bitter and a little spicy and a little peppery all in a one bite if you can, perfect bite. The sweetness of this bite is coming off that cheese, and the Chardonnay is giving you this kind of acidic underpinning, oddly, because it's good. This is a big one, so it's got big oak and big. Is it malolactic? This one,
Yes,
yeah.
of course.
This one
Full.
is just. This one's fully. This tastes like when you have a bite of cheese in this Chardonnay. I feel like you're eating a grilled cheese sandwich, even without any bread, because it's so bready and big, right? So. That's how I like this balance. This is a big bite, small. Like my friends at the Playboy Mansion said, one bite's high impact.
On that note, I don't think we can, no pun intended, top that.
Bing.
So Todd, how much fun. Phenomenal. It seems that we're having dinner. So dear friends, go in your cellar, pull out a bottle of Raymond Chardonnay. Life is starting.
Life is starting. Bon appetit.